Hello everybody, I'm Caleb Hack. Welcome to another video. This month I unfortunately only read 3 books. And the first book I read this month is The House of Morgen by Ron Chernow. Now Ron Chernow, he is the same author who wrote Hamilton, which obviously Linda Miranda read and led the inspiration for the Broadway musical. Now I haven't actually read the book Hamilton, but I have read Titan, which was also by Ron Chernow. And this book opened up an entirely untouched world for me. I had never looked into the history of banking, and while personally I didn't find it all that exciting or entertaining, I still think that it is worth knowing. The Morgans left behind a dynasty that we still see now, and the history of banking is power slowly being taken away from banks. And it is interesting to see that all come together. I rate this book 6.7. The second book I read this month is Fahrenheit 451 by Ray Bradbury. Now, Ray Bradbury, he wrote a lot of different short stories, which some of you may be familiar with. It's considered by most to be a classic. And I find that quite interesting, considering the fact that it is not as good as most classics are. Now, don't get me wrong, it was a good book, but it wasn't at the same scale that you see other classic books. I would rate this book 7.2. The final book I read is Coolidge. I had no idea who Coolidge was until I read this book, other than the fact that he was a president. Now, he was the 30th president of the United States, and he was the president from 1923 to 1929, which, of course, as you know, is when the Roaring Twenties out. Anyway, I would recommend you reading this book if you want to get a whole new perspective on this forgotten president, because most people have the same knowledge that I originally did of Coolidge, that is, that he is a president. What I thought was really interesting is that there were a lot of different historical events surrounding Coolidge's time that I have a decent knowledge in, and given the knowledge that I learned from the House of Morgen, I have this sort of assembled timeline. And you see this book weave all those together in a way. And you see Coolidge and the people around him, one of which, Dwight Moreau, who was in the House of Morgen, bring all these isolated historical events together. And that helps me remember things. I would rate it 7.5. Anyway, that concludes this month's book club. I hope you guys enjoyed. Caleb Hack, signing out.